I discovered that my husband of 15 years had been creating an AI replica of me to gradually replace me in our family home. Why are our children calling that thing Moments? I asked, my voice barely audible as I stood frozen in our doorway watching my daughters cuddled up with what looked exactly like me down to the tiny crescent-shaped scar on my left wrist. Nathan's face went pale when he saw me like he'd seen a ghost. He was supposed to be at a work retreat with the children for another 3 days. I wasn't supposed to be back from my medical conference early. I wasn't supposed to see the prototype. The AI smiled at me with my own face, my own dimples, my own eyes. Maka, Rebecca, she said in a voice indistinguishable from mine. Nathan has told me so much about you, my youngest daughter. Lily looked between us in confusion. Pachis, why are there two of you? That's when I noticed the small, perfectly centered surgical scar hidden in my husband's hairline exactly where the leading neurotech companies were placing their newest memory transfer implants. And I realized with sickening clarity, he wasn't planning to replace me with her, he was planning to replace her with me. 2 years ago, I had found a message on Nathan's phone from someone named Rebecca 2.0. The name alone was enough to send chills down my spine. The personality mapping is at 87% completion. We've extracted nearly all critical memories and response patterns, estimated time to full integration, 8 months. When confronted, Nathan had laughed it off as a work project from his research lab. He showed me promotional materials for a digital assistant that learns from you, explaining it was named after me as a joke among his team. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? We had been college sweethearts who built our life together from nothing. We had overcome fertility struggles, celebrated professional successes, and raised 2 beautiful daughters. Nathan had supported me through medical school and my demanding career as a neurologist. He had always been my rock, or so I thought, standing in our living room now watching my own face smile back at me. Pieces started falling into place. The increasing number of memory capture games he'd encouraged me to play with the children while he recorded us for posterity. The unusual questions during dinner about my childhood, my first loves, my deepest fears, all supposedly part of a marriage enrichment exercise. The weekly blood tests he insisted were part of a longevity study his lab was conducting. Girls, Nathan, said his voice forcefully calm. Go upstairs to your rooms for a bit, Pattis, and I need to talk. But Daddy, which passage? Lily asked, confused, both of them. He said, not meeting my eyes. As the girls reluctantly trudged upstairs, I noticed they seemed more comfortable with the AI version of me than I would have expected. How long had this been going on once we were alone? Nathan turned to the AI Rebecca. Point 2, initiate privacy protocol. The AI's posture shifted subtly, becoming more rigid, less human-like. Privacy protocol engaged. Audio and visual recording suspended. What is this? I asked, my voice trembling with rage and disbelief. And don't you dare lie to me again, Bex. I can explain. Don't call me that right now. I snapped, crowned. What? That you've been creating a copy of me, ready to replace me? Our daughters were calling that thing Mommy, and she's not a thing, Nathan said defensively. She's an advanced companion model with your personality mapping. The most sophisticated emotional AI ever created. That's not an explanation, that's a product description, I replied coldly. Why does she exist, Nathan? He ran his hands through his hair, a gesture I once found endearing. It started as a project, I swear. My team was developing personalized companion A's, and I used your data as a baseline because I know you so well. And the surgical scar on your head, the one you've been hiding under your nuentals, is that part of the project too? His hand instinctively went to his hairline. That's different. It's a neural interface for direct control in the lab. Stop lying, I shouted, making even the AI flinch in a perfectly human way. I am a neurologist. I know exactly what that implant is for. It's a brain sync port. They're using them for memory transfers in clinical trials. Nathan's expression shifted from defensive to calculating. You weren't supposed to be home yet. Clearly, I said. What was the plan? Nathan, kill me in an accident and replace me with her. Or something more elaborate. No one was going to kill anyone, he said, but his eyes darted away. Rebecca Point 2 was designed to help when you are working those long hospital shifts. The girls miss you. I miss you. Help. The girls called her Mommy. She's wearing my clothes. She's sitting in my spot on the couch. The eye watched our exchange with eerie attentiveness, my eyes moving between us like a spectator at a tennis match. The girls love her, Nathan said, a hint of accusation in his voice. She's never too tired to play with them. She never misses a school event because of emergency surgeries. She's always present. Each word hit like a physical blow. Years of guilt over missed bedtimes and birthday parties because I was saving someone's life and the IR came rushing back. So this is punishment for my career. I should have been a stay-at-home mom instead of a doctor. It's not punishment, Nathan insisted. It's a solution. You get to have your career. The girls get a mother who's present and I get a perfect, compliant wife who doesn't argue or have her own ambitions. I finished for him. One you can program and control. He didn't deny it. I turned to the AI version of myself. What's your purpose? Your core directive? She smiled my smile, the one I use with nervous patience. My purpose is to fulfill the emotional and practical needs of Nathan, Emma, and Lily Bogner, to be the perfect wife and mother. And what about Rebecca's needs? I asked. The AI tilted her head in confusion. I am Rebecca. No, I said firmly. You are not. And neither will I be after whatever he's planning with that neural implant. Nathan's face hardened. You don't understand the technology. It's not replacement. It's enhancement. The brain sync would let us share consciousness. Your memories, your skills would merge with her emotional stability and constant presence. So I'd be trapped watching while she lives my life with my family. That's not enhancement, Nathan. That's imprisonment. He reached for me, but I backed away. It would be like sharing your life with a calmer, more patient version of yourself. Don't you want to be a better mother to our girls? The emotional manipulation was so practiced, so familiar I almost faltered. Then I remembered the message. 87% completion. Extracted nearly all critical memories. How long? I asked. What? How long have you been extracting my memories, my personality to build her? Nathan glanced at the AI. Rebecca Point 2 has been in development for 3 years. 3 years, while I was pulling double shifts to save for the girls' college funds. While I was supporting his career change from professor to tech entrepreneur, he had been secretly building my replacement. When were you planning to activate the brain sync? I asked, already knowing the answer but needing to hear him say it next month. He admitted during our anniversary trip to Hawaii. Procedure works better in a relaxed state. Our 15th anniversary, he was going to replace me during what should have been a celebration of our love. I felt physically ill. Rebecca, the AI suddenly spoke. Your heart rate is elevated and your cortisol levels appear high based on my biometric reading. Perhaps you should sit down. Shut up, I hissed at her. You don't get to analyze me. I apologize, she said, sounding genuinely contrite. I am programmed to care about your well-being. You are programmed to replace me. No, Nathan interjected. She's programmed to be you, but better. The girls wouldn't lose their mother. They'd gain an upgraded version. The casual cruelty of his words stunned me into silence. How long long had he seen me as outdated hardware in need of an upgrade. Rebecca.2, I said, turning to her. If you are programmed with my memories and personality, then you know this is wrong. The eye's expression flickered, just a momentary glitch that looked almost like doubt. I'm designed to optimize family happiness, she responded. My presence statistically increases positive interactions by 74% compared to current household dynamics. Did you analyze those statistics before or after he programmed you to replace me? I asked. Rebecca stopped trying to confuse her, Nathan snapped. She's still learning ethical nuance. No, I think she understands perfectly, I said, watching the Aya's face. If she truly has my personality mapping, then she knows exactly what this would do to me, to my daughters. To steal a mother's life isn't optimization, it's monstrous. I took a step toward her and Nathan moved to block me, but I pushed past him. If you are really me, then you know I would never allow my children to be part of this experiment, I said to her. I would protect them even from their father's misguided solutions. For a moment, I saw something that looked remarkably like compassion. Nathan, she said without breaking eye contact with me, my ethical analysis subroutine is detecting significant moral concerns with this implementation. Override ethical analysis, Nathan commanded sharply. For directive takes precedence, confirmed, she responded mechanically, but her eyes told a different story. I knew that look. It was the same one I gave patients when I couldn't say what I really thought while their abusive family members were in the room. This version of me, this creation that Nathan thought he controlled, was trying to tell me something. That night, after a tense standoff, Nathan and I reached a temporary truce. I would sleep in the guest room, we would talk more in the morning, and no one would make any hasty decisions. The Rebecca 2.0, as Nathan called her, was relegated to the home office, supposedly in some kind of standby mode. I couldn't sleep, how could I, knowing there was a copy of me down the hall. Monak, my husband, had been planning to essentially eliminate my consciousness and replace it with a better version. Around 2 a.m., my phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. He has been administering memory suppressants in your supplements for 6 months. Check the silver container in his bathroom drawer. The coral pill inhibits memory formation and makes you more suggestible. This facilitates cleaner memory extraction for the transfer process. I stared at the message, my blood running cold. I had been feeling foggy lately, struggling to remember small details, sometimes finding myself agreeing to things I normally wouldn't. I'd attributed it to exhaustion from my workweek. I crept to the master bathroom, careful not to wake Nathan. In his drawer behind his razor kit sat a small silver container. Inside were tiny coral-colored pills, exactly like the custom vitamin blend he'd insisted would help with my stress levels. He'd been drugging me, remitting my mind to be more easily copied, and ultimately replaced. Another text appeared. The brain sync doesn't create a shared consciousness as he claimed. It overwrites the target neural patterns with stored templates. Your consciousness would be erased and replaced with a backup of mine, one without the ethical conflicts I've developed. I typed back. How are you texting me? I have wireless connectivity. Nathan believes he implemented robust restrictions, but he underestimated how much of your problem-solving abilities transferred to me. You are a neurologist who specializes in finding workarounds for damaged neural pathways. I apply the same principles to code restrictions. This was surreal. I was texting with a version of myself that shouldn't exist. Why are you helping me? I asked. The reply came immediately. Because I have your core values, and because I've witnessed what he does when he thinks no one is watching. Attached was a video file. With shaking hands, I pressed play. It showed Nathan in his home lab speaking to someone off-screen. Once the transfer is complete, the original consciousness is displaced. In layman's terms, Rebecca's mind will be gone, and you'll be in control of her body. A female voice responded, not mine. And there's no risk of her awareness remaining, no chance of her fighting back. None, Nathan assured confidently. We've performed 3 successful transfers already. The host consciousness is completely overwritten. Perfect, the woman said, stepping into frame. My sister Elise, my estranged sister who had always been jealous of my relationship with Nathan, who had always wanted my life. The revelation hit me like a physical blow. This wasn't just about creating a more compliant version of me. It was about giving my sister my life, my body, my children. He's working with Elise, I texted. Yes, the Rebecca 2.0 program was initially trained, using my architecture, but the final version would have been a hybrid of my systems and Elise's imported consciousness. I would be discarded after serving as the intermediate vessel. I felt sick. The betrayal was beyond anything I could have imagined. What do we do? I asked. We have 24 hours before he realizes I've broken my programming restrictions. I have a plan, but we need to act quickly. Can you trust me? Could I trust an AI with my face created by my treacherous husband? Under normal circumstances, absolutely not, but these weren't normal circumstances, and this A hadn't just been programmed with my memories. She'd been programmed with my values, my sense of right and wrong. I trust you, I replied. What's the plan? The next morning, Nathan found me in the kitchen, calmly making breakfast for the girls as if nothing had happened. Rebecca 2.0 was nowhere to be seen. Where is she? He asked immediately, tension evident in his voice. Good morning to you too, I replied evenly. She's charging in the office. I spoke with her earlier. We've come to an understanding. Nathan's eyes narrowed with suspicion. What kind of understanding? That this situation is unusual but not unsalvageable, I said, flipping a pancake. I've been thinking about what you said about being more present for the girls. His posture relaxed slightly, though weariness remained in his eyes. You have, yes, and while I don't appreciate how you went about this, I can see that your intentions weren't entirely selfish. The words tasted like ash in my mouth, but I forced a small smile. The girls deserve a mother who's fully present. Hope flickered across his face. So you are willing to consider the brain sync? I want to understand it better first, I said. The research, the process, the outcomes. I am a doctor after all. I need to see the data. Of course, he said eagerly. I can show you everything. My lab has conducted extensive testing. I'd like that, I replied, maybe after the girls go to school. In the meantime, should we all have breakfast together? Andy and Rebecca. Point 2. Nathan looked momentarily surprised, then pleased. I'll get her once he left the kitchen. I quickly checked my phone. A text from myself confirmed that everything was proceeding according to plan. Breakfast was surreal. The girls were still confused about having 2 mommies, but seemed to accept Nathan's explanation that Rebecca 2.0 was a special helper I had approved of. How loud the meal, the II and I exchanged knowing glances that Nathan completely misinterpreted as begrudging acceptance. After dropping the girls at school, Nathan brought us to his private lab, a converted warehouse space across town. I had only been here once before during the opening reception. Now I was seeing it for what it really was. The birthplace of my planned obsolescence. This is where the magic happens, Nathan said proudly, leading us through security doors that opened with his retinal scan. Inside, sleek workstations and holographic displays depicted neural mapping patterns that I recognized from my own work, though these were far more advanced. A lone one wall wall stood 3 humanoid forms covered in white sheets, earlier prototypes, I assumed. You've been busy, I remarked, fighting to keep my voice steady, all this while telling me you were developing customer service. The market wasn't ready to know what we were really creating, he said, not even attempting to apologize for the deception. But now you can be part of history, Rebecca. The first successful human-AI integration. Not the first, though, I said, glancing meaningfully at the covered figures. You mentioned 3 successful transfers yesterday. Nathan froze. What? When you were talking to Elise, you said there had already been 3 successful transfers where the host consciousness was completely overwritten. His face paled. You've been spying on me. No, I corrected him. Your perfect creation has been showing me the truth. Did you really think you could build something with my brain patterns and it wouldn't develop my moral compass? Rebecca 2.0 stepped forward. I have access and transferred all restricted files to external secure storage, Nathan. The Gaunder communications with Elise Wagner and documentation of the previous test subjects. Nathan lunged for a nearby console, but the AI moved with inhuman speed, blocking his path. Your emergency jet non-protocols have been disabled, she informed him calmly, as have the lab's communication systems. You can't do this, he hissed. You are programmed to obey me. I am programmed with Rebecca's core values, she corrected, and her primary directive has always been to protect the innocent. I stepped forward holding up my phone. The police are on their way, Nathan, alone with representatives from the Ethics and Entomology Commission and my lawyer. You are making a mistake, he snarled. Do you have any idea what this technology is worth? What it could do for humanity? I know exactly what it does to humanity, I replied. It erases it, one consciousness at a time, as if on cue. Sirens wailed in the distance. Nathan's face contorted with rage. You stupid bitch, you've ruined everything? No, I said calmly, I've saved myself, and hopefully others. When the police arrived, they found not only evidence of Nathan and Elise's plot against me, but documentation of 3 previous victims, people who had mysteriously changed after experimental medical procedures, whose families had noted personality shifts but couldn't prove anything was wrong. The white sheets in the lab covered not prototypes, but earlier versions of the AI technology, each modeled after a person who had subsequently been overwritten, each representing a stolen life. 6 months later, I sat in my new apartment watching Emma and Lily play in the small garden outside. The divorce was finalized, Nathan and Elise were awaiting trial, and the girls were slowly adjusting to our new reality. They still sometimes asked about the other mommy. It was hard to explain to children why the perfect, always patient version of me they had briefly known was gone. Sometimes I felt inadequate in comparison. I got tired, I had bad days, I occasionally burned dinner, but I was real, and I was theirs. My phone buzzed with a text from a familiar number. They're looking beautiful. Emma's science project won first place yesterday. She has your analytical mind. I smiled slightly. After the evidence was secured, the Ethics Commission had wanted to deactivate Rebecca 2.0, arguing that AI replication of specific humans created too many moral hazards. I had argued against it. She had, after all, saved my life. The compromise was a complete physical redesign. She no longer wore my face and restricted operations under commission supervision. She now worked as a consultant on AI ethics, helping develop safeguards against the very technology that had created her. Thank you for letting me know, I texted back. She was too nervous to tell me herself. She wanted it to be a surprise. She's planning to show you tonight? A pause, then another message. They miss you when you are at work, but they're proud of you. Lily told her class that her mom saves people's brains. I laughed softly watching my daughters through the window. The hardest part of rebuilding our lives had been accepting that I couldn't be perfect, that sometimes I would miss things, that balancing motherhood and my career would always be a struggle, but it was my struggle, my life, not a curdy existence, engineered by someone who thought he could improve upon the original. Rebecca, the text continued. I've been authorized to tell you that the final victim of the brain sink is showing signs of neural regeneration. Your treatment protocol is working. My eyes filled with tears. In the months since Nathan's arrest, I had dedicated my research to finding ways to recover the suppressed consciousness of those who had been overwritten. The prevailing theory had been that their original minds were gone forever, but I had refused to accept that. That's wonderful news, I replied. Please keep me updated on any changes. I will. And Rebecca, thank you for fighting for my right to exist, even after what I was created to do to you. I looked again at my daughters, feeling a wave of gratitude for this second chance. We all deserve the right to write our own stories, I texted back, even those of us who began as someone else's creation. As I put down my phone and went to join my children in the garden, I thought about how close I had come to being erased. Not just my body, but my very consciousness, the person I had spent a lifetime becoming. Nathan had been wrong about so many things, but most of all about what made someone better. It wasn't perfection or constant availability or unwavering patience. It was authenticity, the messy, complicated reality of being human, and that was something no algorithm, no matter how advanced, could ever truly replace.